What's up, addicts? So today we're going to talk about 5 veterans that you can target in the double-digit late rounds of your draft. So players that I see with pretty high upside, and obviously they don't cost a lot because you can get them in the 10th round or later, typically in most of your drafts. So you can just go through a few names here, and one of them is Corey Clement. So Corey Clement right now is going right around the beginning, middle of the 10th round. And what we've seen in the past with the Eagles is they typically like to use a committee. So there's never really a tremendous amount of game-by-game value with the running backs. But the nice thing about Corey Clement is he does have big play upside. He's scored a lot of touchdowns last year in the small workload that he got, and they don't have LeGarrette Blount anymore. So he does still have to deal with Jay Ajayi, but Jay Ajayi has kind of shown that he is a little bit one-sided in the fact that he can run the ball, but he's not the greatest of pass catchers. And it's likely that Corey Clement is going to at least get some work. But the nice thing about taking running backs like Corey Clement in the 10th, 11th round is you can just stash them on your bench, and then if for some reason Jay Ajayi gets hurt or Corey Clement takes over, you now have a running back with high weekly upside that you got late in your drafts. So those are the kind of guys that I like to target later, because while they may not have value immediately, you can just hang on to them, because at the end of the day, those are the kind of guys that end up winning your league for you. Last year, I was recommending that people take Alvin Kamara near the end of the draft, and look what he did. It's players like that, and then I think 3 years ago, I was doing the same thing with David Johnson. So a lot of times it ends up being a rookie running back that does it. So I'll do another video with rookies that I'm targeting near the end of the draft. But overall, those are the players that if you can nail a few or even just one really good player in the later rounds that you can use that technically you weren't thinking that you were going to be able to, by the end of the year, that's the kind of guys that win you your league. So another guy that I'm targeting right now, right around the same spot as Mike Williams, the wide receiver for the Chargers. So last year he was a rookie, and he really didn't do much because he was hurt for most of the year, and he never really got to develop that rapport with Philip Rivers. So enter year 2, he is destroying it in camp, and Hunter Henry is no longer going to play this year because he had that torn ACL. So I think Mike Williams has gigantic touchdown upside, and if he actually starts getting more receptions and is actually, can build that rapport with Philip Rivers, then he could be a really nice sleeper for the wide receiver position this year. If he gets 10 touchdowns, I could foresee anywhere between like 40 to 50 receptions, maybe even more, maybe about 700-800 yards. That's a really good deal for someone that you're getting right around the 11th round. Another receiver, and this one's a little bit higher, but Nelson Aguilar, he's been going up and down a bit. But the reason why I really like Aguilar this year is with everything going on with Alshon Jeffrey, he may even start the season on PUP. We're not sure at this point how severe his injury is. But last year we saw Nelson Aguilar take a huge step forward. They game schemed around him being in the slot, which he's a slot receiver. We know that now. They tried to put him on the outside before, and it just didn't work out. But once they put him into the slot full time and put Jeffrey and last year Torrey Smith on the outside, it's just worked well with the system. He has a rapport with Carson Wentz. So I think Nelson Aguilar could end up being the most valuable receiver on the Eagles this year, and he's going so late it doesn't cost you that much, so he's a great stash. Another running back, James White, the running back for the Patriots. Now, his ADP just skyrocketed 2 rounds this last week, or actually just the past couple of days, because he had that huge game against Philadelphia in week 2 of the preseason. But it was probably should have always been around that range anyway because of all the turmoil that's going on in New England right now. I was big on Rex Burkhead. Rex Burkhead is now dealing with a knee injury. We got Sony Michel, the rookie running back. He's also dealing with an injury. And Tom Brady likes James White. They don't always game scheme around him. But again, he's one of those guys that it doesn't cost you that much. You can just stash on your bench. And then if for some reason Burkhead goes down or Sony Michel goes down, then James White could have a huge role. And the Patriots are a high-scoring team. And if you can have a running back that is on a high-scoring team that also gets receptions, that's a good value. And then the last one, which he just doesn't seem to be getting any love this year, is Bilal Powell for the running back for the Jets. So obviously Isaiah Crowell was the starter, but even in the first preseason game, they started Powell over Crowell. So it's clear that they're going to use him. Elijah McGuire has that injured, I believe it was his hand that he injured before week 1 of the preseason. So it's looking likely that Bilal Powell will be the second runner in New York. And I mean, we've seen 1 year of Crowell be really good with the Browns, and we've seen a couple more years of him not really do much of anything. He also is dealing with injury right now as well. So Bilal Powell is, again, just one of those guys you can get super, super late. Right now he's going around 14th, 15th round. And, you know, it doesn't hurt to have a few guys like that on your bench, because if for some reason Crowell goes down, we've seen Bilal Powell put up really good fantasy numbers before when he was the starting running back for the Jets when an injury happened ahead of him. So is he a guy that the Jets trust to have as their lead back? Obviously not, because they went out to go get Crowell, but that doesn't mean that he can't have fantasy value, especially if Crowell goes down. So anyway, those are 5 names that I would keep an eye out for, and if you're drafting late, you just are trying to figure out who's the best value, those are the guys that I'm targeting from a veteran perspective. I also target a lot of rookies. I'll do another video on that, so keep an eye out for that one. But anyway, if you guys are curious how I have every player ranked, you can download my tiers. Click the link in the description box and you can get a full list of everyone we're drafting this year. I'll be continuing to update that through the next couple weeks. Make sure you guys are ready to kill it on draft day. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.